a very special treat, so make sure you guys are thinking of questions. I have some for her, but I also want to make sure that you guys have a chance to ask anything you want to Deanna. But first, I want to say thank you. We're so busy. Every time I'm on Instagram or watching TV, I feel like I see you everywhere, all over the entire world. And for you to be here this weekend in Atlanta, we're honored. So thank you for being here.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me here. I am super excited to see you all girls, to be able to share a little bit with you, to feel like family here. That's what I'm here for. Like to connect with each other, to keep building the community and keep building dreams together. So I am super excited.
We're going to get to all of your accolades and all of the accomplishments, but I want to go back to the very beginning first and to help paint a picture as, some of the ladies who are in this room that might be their first year, second year, fifth year, sixth year playing flag, whatever it may be. But let's go back to the very first time that you picked up a football and why did you do it? Tell us about it.
Well, let me start by saying, and I told you this that last night, that for me, it's super exciting to see you all girls because it's just to see the community that you have built, the sisterhood, the culture that you're building, and how you are reshaping what being a girl in sports in the world of football, flag football means is incredible. It's amazing, and I wish I had that growing up. I wish that I could be part of something like you girls, like this teams, the sisterhood again, because when I started playing flag in Mexico City, the sport was not big at all. It was not well known by almost nobody in my city. It was seen to be a sport for boys only. So I started very young because of my dad. My dad was the guilty one. So he took me from ballet, gymnastics to the football field one day. And at that age, I had to start playing with girls that were 16 or 17 years old because we didn't have a lot of teams or clubs or categories to play at. So that's how I started. I even remember that at the team I started at, the club, we had this amazing football field, natural grass, stands, lighting. Okay, that's not where I started. That's not where we started because we were not allowed to step on the football field because our sport didn't have the respect it has today. So we had to train at the backfield. It was a dirt field. We even had to bring trash bags to every practice every single day and spend the first 10 minutes cleaning up the space from rocks and trash and anything that could hurt us to be able to practice again. So thinking back on how it used to be back then, how all of the women that came before me and before all of us had to kind of like fight for a space in a world that constantly screamed to us like, no, you don't belong here, you're not from here, almost feeling as intruders, but still following their dreams, following their passions. That's what makes me feel super excited to see where we are today.
I know when I was in high school, I did powder puff, which folks have heard of, but I'm like, I wish I had girls flag football for me to play. I played soccer, I loved it, but I wish I had, that opportunity. So I feel similar. Talk to us about fast forward to probably the same age that a lot of these ladies are now, Philadelphia, and then I think at age 16 playing for the Mexico national.
Yes, so started at the age of 8. Then by the age of 10, 12, I started traveling because then I realized, okay, flag football, maybe it's not that big, but there are tournaments and teams all over the world. So I started traveling to Canada and the United States. And at one of these tournaments, when I was probably like 13 or 14 years old, it was a tournament in Boston. I traveled with a team from Mexico City. It was one of the first times that I got to play with girls my age, which was new for me. So we went to Boston, played at this tournament, and then ending up losing at the championship game against a team from Philadelphia. So it was a great experience. We came back. We were all like, oh, like we had that, that feeling, girls. But then the magic happened like a month after when one day the coach from this team reached out to me. and said that they were impressed by my passion and my talents on the field, and they wanted to invite me to play with them the NFL Flag Football Regional Championship in Philadelphia. So I think that was one of the like biggest lessons that the game has given to me. That sometimes losing or winning, it doesn't mean anything. Like winning doesn't mean winning all the time, and losing doesn't mean losing all the time. You can win when you lose. Every time you have to make sure you give your everything, you give your all, because you never know what can happen after every experience. So that's how I started playing with this team from Philly. Regionals first, we won the regional championship. We went to the National NFL Flag Football Championship in 2012 in New Orleans. We got third place there, and that's how kind of like my life was starting to change in ways I never imagined that I could. Um, After that, all my middle school, I did homeschooling. So I had the opportunity to travel a lot back and forth, studying at home and then coming here to the States and played with this team, traveling around the country to play flag. And by the age of 16, of their national championship in Mexico, I got selected to play at the national team. That was something I was not expecting at all. Because even if I already was traveling for flag, I didn't know that the sport was that big that had a world championship. Can you imagine? I didn't know at that age that we had a national team. I didn't know that all of that existed. And out of a sudden, I was part of it. It was a big challenge being the youngest player in the team at the World Cup. But I mean, ever since then, it has been an amazing journey. I've been playing with the national team for 13 years now. A lot of World Cups, amazing experiences, and just the beauty and the honor to feel how it is to represent your country and your people.
That's amazing. And you have such an amazing career already, right? But it always wasn't easy, right? And I've heard you talk about this before that a lot of people have told you no, or you're too small, or you're too little, or you're too young to lead. And one of the quotes that I took that I really loved was, I've learned to go off what I'm capable of rather than what people are saying. And how has that molded you into who you are now?
Yes, so I had to learn how to go against or use the power of no, right? You're too young, you're too small, this is not for you, you're not gonna get anywhere. Um, but I think a big blessing for me was to have a big support system, starting from my parents and then my coach, that always believed not only on me, but all of my teammates. There was not excuses in the team. There was no I can't. There was um, no barriers for us. I think since I was very young, I learned how to look on what I had, like the positive things on me, rather than the challenges that I was facing. Because imagine an 8 year old girl playing with 16 or 17-year-old girls, it's a challenge. And I was so passionate for the game that I wanted to fight for my place on the field. And there was no way I could fight against that. Looking on what I didn't have, because I wasn't the strongest, I wasn't the fastest, I wasn't the tallest. So I learned to look on, okay, what I have, how I can face this challenge, so I can be the smartest on the field. I for sure was the most disciplined on the field. I remember getting on the field half an hour at least before every practice and leaving after training with my dad how to throw a football, because I wasn't even able to hold the ball with one hand because I was too small. So all of those things have taught me that I think our biggest power is not only focusing on ourselves. We have heard that a lot, right? Like focus on yourself, focus on your journey. And I think that's right in some way, because you have to look at how you can improve and be a better person every time. But I think the right focus is, yes, focus on yourself, but focus on how you can use your talents your strengths to help the environment around you to make a change. How you can use those talents for a bigger purpose than yourself. And that's when the magic happens because that's when I think your vision opens and you start thinking, okay, what I can do now, right now, not tomorrow, not in a year, not when I get a better player, no, today, to make a difference in my team, to make a difference in my classroom, to make a difference in the circle I am at. And I think that's where the real power unlocks. And you start seeing how, yes, you can make things happen instead of all the challenges in front of you.
Well, you talk about how no fuels you and being criticized can fuel you, and it fueled you into 2 gold medals. Talk about that and that type of feeling. That's amazing.
It has been a crazy journey, I have to say. Like, it's amazing to talk now about these 2 gold medals. But what a lot of people don't know or we don't think about is um, it took me 9 years to get to a championship game. 9 years since I started playing with the national team. And not only that, it took me a lot of different teams, different coaches, different processes to get to play my position at the national team. So I played quarterback. I've been playing quarterback for, I don't even know, like 16 years now, more. But at the national team, I first started playing like receiver, QB2, center. I even play linebacker, cornerback, rusher, and I had to fight for those places with girls that played those positions for their whole lives. And it took me 9 years to get to that place and have that opportunity to finally show up for my team, to do what I love to do, to play my position and lead my team to a championship game. We first lost in 2022. We won silver for, yeah, we won silver in 2021. And then a couple of months later, 2022, we won the first gold medal at the World Games, the biggest competition flag football has been part of. So I think that, of course, it's an amazing feeling. It's just one of those moments you'll never forget. Just the joy, the team, the excitement, the passion, everything, because it's every word, like from all of those years. But I could say, like, it's the journey that shapes you, it's the journey that really sticks with you, and it's the journey that gives to that medal. I think the, how do I say it? The medal wouldn't mean the same if all of us didn't have to go through all these years, all this time, the sacrifices, and the grind to get there.
I think that's so inspirational, and you talk a lot about inspiring the next generation. And I think the ladies that are in this room, they have such an incredible ability to inspire their next generation. Talk about that and what advice you could give them for inspiring the next line of girls flag football players.
I could say, girls, the opportunity you have right now, not only to inspire, not only to live your passion, but to lead the future generations and reshape what it means to be a girl in flag, what it means to have big dreams, and not only just to dream big, but to act and to make a difference and be loud. Um, it's huge. I know most of the times we tend to maybe look at our journeys, look at ourselves, and wonder if we're doing things right or not, if what we're doing is creating an impact or not. Because most of the times we cannot see beyond our actions, right? Beyond our little bubble here. But I want you to know that I guarantee you that every decision you make, every step you take, is not only for you, it is creating an impact in girls that you may not know yet, in people that you may not meet in person right now. Because everything we do creates this path that goes beyond us. That's why I love to talk about the bigger purpose. We are all here for a reason. And believe it or not, life will always take charge of make you see and help you see what that purpose is in life. Maybe it is right now, maybe it is in a couple years, but what you have to focus on is on always giving your best today, knowing that the impact you're having will help others. So I just want to say that I'm so proud of you for just being here today because it makes a difference. It is telling the world that you want to be better, that you want to improve, that you are willing to be part of something bigger than yourself. And in that way, the universe always replies you back with bigger opportunities, brighter than what you can imagine right now.
It's incredible. Just a few more questions, and then again, we want to open it up. If you guys have any questions for Deanna, but you talk about influence, you talk about inspiring, and you have used your influence to make sure that flag football is in the 2028 Olympics. You were part of that. Talk about that. That's a huge accomplishment for everyone globally that it's now an Olympic sport.
It's a dream come true, right? Like it's a dream come true for me, for all the flag football community. I think it's something that we never imagined could happen. Um, I grew up watching the Olympic Games every 4 years, but almost like feeling like, okay, there's no way I could be there. I even thought about changing the sports at some point to track and field, but it didn't work. Like flag football was my love, like forever. So when I had an opportunity to be part of this process of this movement alongside IFAB, which is International Football Federation, the NFL, and a lot more people that had to be part of this process to make it happen, I think that has been one of the biggest blessings in my life to be able to give back to the game that gave me so much, that shaped me to be who I am today beyond the field, that knowing that we were building again like dreams for so many people, for all of you and for all the girls coming, now just by opening that door of flag football being an Olympic sport. So I think for me, that's what I take from that experience, just again knowing that you always have to make sure you're ready for whenever an opportunity knocks your door. And it doesn't mean always that it has to be on the field as a player. It may be off the field as an spoken person, as an ambassador, as just like a mentor for younger girls or people from your community. You have to make sure you're ready by just like making sure you continue to evolve. And I think that's what has opened to me the doors beyond the field to be able to contribute to this movement of change. And now knowing that flag at the Olympics will only be the beginning of so much more for me, for my generation, for your generation, and the ones to come. That's what makes it more exciting.
What does it mean to you when you talk about when you were 8 years old and nobody was talking about girls flag football, and I mentioned earlier when in 2018 nobody was talking about girls flag football in Georgia or even nationally, but now fast forward you look and lots of NFL teams are leaning in, the NFL's leaning in, Falcons we've leaned in a lot. What does that mean to you?
It's a game changer. I almost cannot believe where we are today just by looking back and seeing where we come from. You mentioned it, like nobody talked about the sport, nobody knew what was flag football, nobody believed on the game, and now, thanks to different efforts like from you or all the organization, people that believed in what maybe we couldn't see or imagine years ago, it's a reality and it's going like beyond what we could ever dreamed. I think it's super important because it's totally a game changer in so many ways. Not only by helping giving access to the game to all of you girls, to many more young girls around the country in your cities, but also I think by giving the game the respect it deserves. I think it brings attention to the game in so many ways. Beyond the field, it makes people want to be part of it, want to invest in it, whether it is investing in resources, accessibility, or just like by putting girls and women in sports front and center of different conversations, different rooms where decisions are taken. I think it's a total game changer, and it's by like initiatives like this, programs like this, um, the reason why our sport has evolved and changed a lot. And I told you this before, like, and that's the importance of just following our passions and that little intuition that tells us, like, oh, this could be nice, this could be amazing, let's have a flexible program. Why not? You never imagined that it could be this today. But I was telling her, like, it's amazing how things somehow in time just like connect and make sense. I was telling her, talking about the Olympic journey to make flag football an Olympic sport. It wouldn't happen at all if it wasn't because programs like this existed. Because by then, when we started talking about that, the numbers were there, the intention was there, the exposition was there, and we had like these all this data, all these initiatives to back the movement up, and make the people from the IOC know that yes, this had a future. So again, just like circling back to the importance of just like contributing and being your best, following your dreams and your passions, knowing that it definitely will have a bigger impact.
So great. What questions do we have from you guys? We have our folks that have microphones around. Who has a question for
Don't be
Deanna?
shy.
Don't be shy.
This is the time.
I know we also have some QBs in the crowd. Oh, awesome. What's your name and what school are you with?
I'm Coach Grassi from Cabernet, and I want to. Can you tell these girls what the best path moving forward to get to a place where you are now?
Okay, best path. So what I think is amazing now is that you have like different opportunities right now in front of you. Not only like scholarships from different colleges here, it's gonna become like an NCAA sanctioned sport soon. So I think those opportunities are super valuable for you, not only to excel on the field, but also off the field as well. Because for me, sports, yes, we love sports. We're passionate about it, but it's a tool to complement you in life to achieve your dreams on and off the field as well. And for me, it's super important to say that because it truly helps you to be a better human being. So I could say these opportunities are super valuable. Now I know that there are different camps. USA Football is running different camps all over the world to make sure they can see all of you girls. So just make sure you stay consistent on what you're doing right now. Not only with your training every day, like every day counts. Every day makes it different, but also every tournament, every platform you go to, it's important. And I'm not saying that like as a pressure, like I have to be like the best always. No, but just like be conscious that opportunities come when sometimes you don't imagine they can be there. So again, you better be ready for those doors in front of you. So I think girls, like, just like opportunities are limitless now that you have the exposure, that you have these programs, and you have the support from coaches and people around you. So don't sleep on it. Stay consistent every day. Take those doors because they're gonna like excel you also.
Great question. What other questions do we have? Oh, this Tatiana. She was on Fox 5 on Thursday talking about
Love.
race flag.
Hi, I want to ask, what does it mean to you to represent not just your country, but also young athletes who now see themselves in your sport? And what is some advice to QBs on like that big moment during the game, like handling the pressure, not standing your head?
Oh, that's a good question. What does it means for me? I think it's the biggest blessing of my life to be able to do what I love on the field, to build a sisterhood, to be around my teammates, but also somehow to be this face of the game and help pushing the sport forward. Because I know that every single effort we do um, is so girls like you or the younger generations can not only dream but live with what we never had. So I think for me it's also a huge responsibility because that's something I always have on my mind. Um, the sense of being grateful. with every opportunity, every platform, every space I'm able to be part of, because I know that women before us didn't have that luxury, didn't have even that chance. This was not even an option. So I take that every day as a huge responsibility of doing my best everywhere I go, to leaving something from me to make every place, every room a little better, at least than what it was before I came in. And also the responsibility of continue to dream big, because that's the only way that we make things happen and we make the future brighter. Um, Now, to the question about a QB, okay, that's a hard one because I think it's a process. Like for me, it has been truly a process, challenging one. Not only of gaining confidence, I've learned that confidence comes from within, and we have learned that a lot. But uh, I think the moment you really are conscious about that nobody's gonna give you that confidence, not even your coach, not even your parents, or not even your teammates. Confidence doesn't come from outside, from people telling you, oh, you did a good job, good game. No, because never take the highs too high and the lows too low. You are the only one that knows what you're capable of. So, first, just like focusing on being better every time and being like my, how to say, like my hardest critic, and also my biggest supporter. I think you have to find that balance of being like rude for yourself. Um, doesn't matter if the world tells you it's a good play, you know when it's a good play and when it's not, because you know when you could have done more and when you did your best and it was maybe the best play. Um, and also being kind with myself. I have also learned that that sense of, for me it's so important, especially being a quarterback, be calm and have like this this sense of like peace and be grounded for your team is so important. Sometimes that's what makes a bigger impact than throwing footballs out there, because anyone can throw a football. Oh, but not everybody has the quiet mind to lead and to be that rock and support for your teammates when things are not going right. So for me, it's just like knowing the work I put in every day, knowing what I'm capable of, and also knowing that I'm always more than what I do. So a good game doesn't define me. A gold medal doesn't define me, and a lose doesn't define me. I am more for what I can do beyond throwing footballs, because I am more because of the person I am, because of how I engage with my teammates, because how I take every challenge, and how I am able to stay positive after everything, wins or loses. So yes, that could be my advice for you.
Very, very well said. What other questions do we have? Awesome. Can you say your name, your position in school?
Hi, I'm Lexi. I play running back, and I go to Thomas County Central. And I was curious, what is the most memorable game or impactful game that you've played so far?
Hard one. Most memorable game I've have had. I think I have a couple of favorites, favorite moments. For sure, the first time we won gold in 2022, that was a special one, because I think the chemistry we had in the team was so magical. Like we were just in our zones during the game. Like defense were on fire, offense was on fire. Um, just like the feeling of camaraderie and sisterhood there. We were all cheering for each other, and the result wasn't even the thing that was worrying us the most. We were not there to win or to lose a game. We were there because we truly felt passionate about the opportunity to be part of that moment. And I think that's what made that game flow amazingly. We ended up winning with a crazy score, 39-6, something like that. Which doesn't happen often, and you know that, girls, especially at that level. So I think that was one of my favorite moments, just because of that, like the sisterhood we were able to build. And then last year, in China, I think I'm not gonna talk about like a moment, because I don't know if you have watched that game, girls, but it was just like one of those movie games. Like we were like winning, and then 2 minutes, 1 minute before the game ended, USA scored, so we ended up losing 20 seconds before the game ended, and we ended up like winning in the last 3 seconds of the game. Of course, that was exciting, but again, I think like for me, just the full experience of winning gold in China and then coming back 3 weeks later and winning gold again at the Continental Championship, that that has been one of the experiences that has stuck with me the most, because sometimes it is not about just getting there and winning. It's about like how we repeat it, how we regroup, and how we make sure that we evolve this fast to be able to come back and do it again in a different, special way. So I could say those two has been some of the most like my favorite moments, but for sure there are a lot more.
That was great. What other questions do we have? Any others? Say name, your position in school, please.
Okay. My name is Courtney. I go to Luella and I play middle linebacker. So, okay, I have two questions. My first question would be like, when did you know that flag football was like what you wanted to do for the rest of whenever you know, flag football?
When, you know, so funny, because to be honest, I cannot think of an aha moment, like, okay, this happened and that's how I knew. I think for me it was more like continue to follow my passion. Like back then, I didn't know that I was going to be able to build a career around this. And of course, I had a couple times where I almost left the sport because of different reasons. Sometimes because there were not a lot of spaces where I could continue playing the game. Um, Especially when I was in high school, and this is okay, but like this is so crazy, because now I, looking back, when I was in high school, we didn't have high school teams or anything. So I ended up like enrolling into a high school in Mexico City that it was like super. It was one of the highest level high schools, like academically talking about. But they didn't have sports. They didn't have anything at all. So I almost left the sport because I felt that it didn't have room in my life with the school and studying and going back and forth home and school. And also I had a lot of professors back then that were so rude with me. I think it was like it was a different mentality, right? I remember going to school and having comments like, you should leave sport because you're not gonna get anywhere with that. Or going back to school with you sometimes with shorts or skirts. But after a tournament, you girls know that you have like your little bruises sometimes. Or for me, I was super proud because they were like my war like trophies. But for the people out there, they couldn't. It was not well seen. So I received a lot of comments even from professors like, you look so bad, like you're not gonna get anywhere, you're not gonna get married if you continue to do this, because that's not what a girl do. All those kind of like rude comments. But I feel that for me, what kept me going was not only my support system, mom, dad, brother, sister, that always encouraged me to do what I loved, but also just like this was my safe place. This was a place where I could be who I was, where I could be loud, where I could be passionate. And I couldn't find a place like that anywhere else. So I think that's what kept me going and just like finding ways to stay connected with the game, even beyond high school, then for college. And I think also when I realized that most of the times I was getting in rooms where I couldn't see a lot of girls that looked like me, or I couldn't see a lot of girls at all. You know, I had to play in all boys leagues and all boys teams for a long time, fighting for a place. Then when I came to the States back then, I was the only Latina playing the game, at least that I know. Then at the national team, I was the youngest. And also being the one and only in so many ways. I think that's when I realized that I couldn't quit, not only because of my passion, but because it was important that other girls could look themselves being part of those scenarios, being part of those rooms, so we could be more.
It's amazing. One time for one more question. We have one more question.
I have another one if nobody else.
A follow-up question, you said?
Yeah, I think you had another one.
You want to ask it real fast, then we'll come to here. Come down here.
Okay, so as a senior, it's almost like it feels like time is running out. Not saying that it's over, like I don't have time to figure out what I want to do, but as somebody that wants to continue flag football, but also has another passion to want to go do something else that's totally different from the track that I want to go on, what advice would you give me to like make that decision? Because the other thing I want to do is go to the military, and going to the military and playing flag football at the same time is not something I could do. So, what advice would you give me to make that decision?
Okay. Well, I think that's that's one of those life-changing decisions, right? I could say what I've learned from my experience is, for me, I've never had most of the times like things clear, right? We all think that we're gonna have, or we have to build like this perfect plan, like things are gonna happen like this, and that every step is gonna be perfect. For me, it hasn't been like that. I've had to change decisions about my career, about like everything, even what career I was gonna study in college. But what I've learned is that there is not a wrong and right. There's not black and white. There is not good decision and wrong decision. Because if you really stick to your passions and just really stay true to who you are, you will find the ways or to make things happen. Maybe it is not like starting in the military and playing flag at the same time, but it can be after it. But it can be things can happen in the journey. So what I can tell you is don't be afraid of taking steps of faith to what you feel today works for you, to what you feel passionate about today. You won't know if that's going to be the same thing in 2 3 years or 5 years. But what your heart tells you today, that's a good answer. Um, so stick with that. I cannot tell you how to take a right decision or the right decision for you now, but just like don't be afraid to listen to what makes you passionate and happy today. Don't think about the next 2 or 3 years, 10 years, because everything can change. Just know that every decision has a purpose and that everything will align you to that bigger purpose.
So good. All right, down here, name, position, and school.
Hi, my name is Kaya. I'm a running back and I go to Queens Academy. My question is about the Super Bowl commercial that you did. I remember when I seen it, I was like running around my house and screaming because I was like, that was the first time I'd actually seen flag be advertised in a way. So I was just wondering if you knew how big of an impact of that commercial that was going to be, and how was it for you from that?
Wow. Yeah, so to be honest, I didn't know that it was going to be a big deal. So, no, I didn't. So, I remember the day I got this call from the NFL people, right? Like, telling me pretty much like, of course, we worked together for this Olympic journey, so we know each other. They knew my story, they knew everything. So one day I picked the phone and they were like, "Hey Diana, how are you?" "Hi, I'm good." Random call from the phone. And then "I'm good. How are you?" "Oh yeah, good." "Oh, so we're working on the Super Bowl commercial, and we want to tell your story, and especially not only your story, but all the flag football girls' story. And we're wondering if you want to be part of it." "Yes." And he even said like, "Okay, you can think about it." I was like, I have nothing to think about it. Yes, I want to be part of it. But I remember coming back home and telling my parents, like, I got this amazing random call today asking me if I wanted to be part of a Super Bowl commercial. Of course, I said yes, but I thought I was going to be like part of 1 second of the commercial, and I was happy with that. And I realized how big it was until I got to LA to shoot the commercial. So it was like a 5 day shoot, 12 hours a day. It was like a lot of people involved. And when I started to see the call list and all of that, I was like, okay, this is huge. And then when I realized I was the star of the commercial, I was like, okay, nobody told me this. And thank you because I'm a little nervous now. Um, but I think the best experience of that, of course, it was something new, but the best thing was to know and get to see how every single person behind this commercial, we all knew that this was going to have a big impact because the message was powerful. It was about empowering women in sports. It was about breaking cultural barriers. It was about breaking down the stereotypes. And every single person believed in that message. And I'm talking about people from the NFL behind the scenes, all the crew, and also in front of the camera, like players, amazing legends, Billie Jean King, everybody. So I think again, just like the feeling that we were doing something bigger than ourselves, and I was part of that. Um, that was the most exciting part of it. And after that, just to see the impact that it still has on many, many people all over the world that knew about the sport because of that commercial or that heard their language being spoken by very first time in a big scenario like that. Just one line in Spanish changed so many people's life. So I think that was the best out of this experience, and just like to continue to see how it keeps opening doors and breaking the stereotypes and breaking barriers all over the world has been the biggest blessing for me.
It was such an iconic moment, and I remember watching it, and my phone blew up of just folks saying, "Oh my gosh, did you see that? Did you see that?" And it was an aha moment for me of we've all been working so hard to get where we are in flag, but now it's on the biggest stage possible on that commercial, and so it's here to stay. And so that was a really huge moment, I think, for a lot of people, including you. So it's great. Okay, so what's next? So in August, you have some big games coming up. That'll be in Germany. That could potentially solidify your trip to the Olympics, right?
Yes. So we have a World Cup in August, and that's going to be the first step to qualify for the Olympics. So we have like very busy months ahead, like a very big competition ahead, because pretty much that will define like where we go and if our dreams come true or not. We may have another shot next year, but this is a year for everybody. We're aiming not only to go to the World Cup and win another gold medal there, but also to win that opportunity to make our dreams come true there. And yeah, so that's what's ahead for us. I think it's exciting times for flag worldwide. It's exciting times to be part of this movement that I continue to say is a movement of change, and you are the ones feeling this movement. You are part of it. You are the ones that will continue to lead from now on. So there's no pressure on you girls, but I really want to say you are the future of the game, and the future is now. and the future is brighter than ever.
That's so powerful. So I know you're going to be sticking around for just a little bit, so you'll be able to see her shortly. But I know we will all be watching you in August, cheering for you. So thank you so much for being here and for spending time with all of us, for all the girls. Please give her a huge round. Transition you out this way, and then we're going to break for lunch. Please review